Ta-da. It is I, Sebastian, back again. You know me, thrifter, reseller, collector. So in this video, I'm going to overview, actually I got to move this chair, I just realized. You know, I'm so well organized, you got to understand that. I just turned this thing on, what the hell? Anyways, I'm going to do art and objects, and then I'm going to do clothing, recently thrifted stuff. So getting right along. This one's cool. They're all cool. That's my bias, you know that. These are MCM, mid-century modern, elongated duckies. In fact, these are geese. In terms of obtuseness, I'd rate myself at about a level 6, which is not the worst I've ever done, frankly. At first I thought they might be like herons or something, but the beak, the rounded beak, that's the true giveaway. Otherwise, these are like maybe duck heron hybrids, which, you know, I mean, all the chemicals in the environment, you never know what you're going to get, basically. That one has decent value, I think, actually. So I picked it up for $8. That's after coupon at Goodwill. Most here are sourced at Goodwill. I'll try and mention when it's other places. Like, I do try and pop into Savers, because we got a few here in town in Phoenix. But that one actually, I think, has decent value. You could probably, I'm thinking if you're patient online, you know, could probably sell for between 100 and 200. But even if I sell just on Marketplace, maybe just go for 50, you know. That's kind of my calculations on that. This guy, this is cool. I found this yesterday. And I have seen some art prints and posters of this artist, William Buffet. But this is an original watercolor, and I'm almost positive on that, and I'm gonna really like, and it's signed. You can see pencil markings and all this sort of stuff. But what I'll probably do, just to really double check, because this would have some value if it is an original. I'll look with a loop. You know, I'll try and see what I can pick up visually. Just looking close up, just to make sure, you know, I'm not, you know, misadvertising and representing the object like an idiot, because that's frankly disrespectful to your customers if you're doing that. This is cool. This is African-American artist called, fairly well-known, William Tolliver. I have found an art poster of his before, which is why I kind of knew of him. And this is some months back. Now, I believe this is just a print. But it was fairly cheap and decently framed, so it's $8. Very sellable. You know, this is like a jazz music scene, I believe. Yes, there's music elements, so that helps too for the keywords. You know, jazz, Americana sort of stuff. This one's hilarious. This is actually a really lovely pastel drawing. Now, if I'm going to do a straight up like psychological profile on this little dude, right off the bat, I would be like, serial killer. You know, he's got those Addams Family psycho look to him, which frankly I think is hilarious. It makes me think of the vintage horror paperbacks, you know, where Damien, you know, there's some kind of jingle with that. I can't remember right now, but and that one was not expensive. Yeah, no, I paid about 10 or 11 on that. And that one is fairly sellable because the artist is decently known, and it's an original, and it's, you know, very well executed. It's got vibes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's got character. This is a Met poster for Tiffany. So, you know, it's the Tiffany style and stuff. I've seen this exact same poster before once. But it was water damaged, so I didn't pick it up. But I was very tempted because this is decent, probably $100, $200. Paid a little over $6. And what I'll see is probably pop it out of the frame, you know, so that way I can, when I sell it online, I can provide much cheaper shipping rates for people, because otherwise sometimes it's crazy how much, like, some of these things cost to ship is just wild. I mean, I understand. It's just the logistics of it are difficult. This is... You know who this is? If you say Winnie the Pooh, I'm going to be damn upset with you. No, this is Snoopy. You know that, right? This is like a later era looking Snoopy, though. I prefer early era Snoopy. Personally, look, I'm just getting into the details and nuances of my view on peanuts, which is frankly very important. But this is by this dude named Tom Everready, or no, Everhart, Everhart. Actually, decently valuable poster. You know, like between also 100 200. That's what you can look for. And per usual, my strategy is, you know, like on the local marketplaces, I'll list for lower though. You know, that's a trade-off. Just for the practicality of it, you provide better deals for people locally, and you don't have to deal with shipping, which is great. But yeah, paid 8. And then what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so when I had this in my cart, dude approached me, older gentleman, kind of scraggly looking, but he starts conversating with me, and he's like, he's telling me he knew a guy who found some original pieces of Tom Everhart, like while thrifting, and then he's also starting to tell me about a piece he thrifted at some point, an art piece, and it was by this artist that I didn't know, and then, you know, so I'm starting to look them up, and I can't remember who it was now, but then it turns out, oh, there's like a famous animation artist, like who did like animation art backgrounds, like really nice, kind of like what's his face, the dude from Disney, Avon Earl or something like that. You know, he did the Sleeping Beauty backgrounds and all this. He's truly incredible. He's very influential, basically. Avon Earl, I think, is what it is. But anyways, but this dude then went to South America, Peru, and got very influenced by the work over there. And so that he changed his whole style, which I thought was interesting, you know, because then I started looking it up. And anyways, but it just goes to show it's so fun. You meet people, and everybody's got, you know, a lot of people got interesting stories, basically, which I think is so cool. This one, I'm trying to remember which direction it goes. It's so big, and I got my fan going, so I'm going to try and be careful. We're already cooking here in Phoenix, you know, so we got to do whatever we can to stay cool. I can't tell if you can tell what this is. It's signed Shaman. And I think this is actually a decently well-known artist. This is an original piece. It's freaking huge. And, you know, so I think I paid a bit over 20. So I did pay, relatively speaking, on it. The guy, you know, when I was picking it up in the back, you know, because I had them hold it for me, because I couldn't maneuver in the store with that thing. You know, he's like, damn, you got a steal on this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, for real? He's like, yeah, you see the price? I'm like, yeah, the price was $20 or whatever I paid. You know, he's like, no, on the back it says, you know, it was $1,100, you know, retailing for when this was selling. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I kind of figured it's kind of one of those gallery style pieces that was, or they had gallery representation and all this stuff. But, you know, just because there's a list price on something doesn't mean all that much, frankly, you know. Don't always trust that. So, but I do think that's a cool piece. It's got some power, you know, you can feel it. Wayne Thiebaud, one of my favorite artists. I've mentioned them before. You might know the visuals here. What do you call it? Was it pop art? No, it was, I don't know. It was right around that kind of stuff. But you see his coloring is so good, you know, with the shadows. He has a lot of beautiful subtle colors, and he's one of those artists I really feel can appeal to somebody who's not really into art, to somebody who's very, very into art. Because I think he was a very good like technician in terms of color work. This actually I do think has decent value. He's fairly well collected now. It's just a poster, and I got it at White Dove, and I paid $40, so that's a good amount. And this other one too, I picked up at the same time $40. Maybe they were the same collection actually, but this is really, the artist is really good. The artist's name is Martinez. I'm blanking on the first name because Martinez is a fairly general name there, but beautifully done. And I'm going to look a little more closely. I don't think it's an original, and that's okay because it still has value. But I'll double check. Sometimes you can be pleasantly surprised. But what a beautiful portrait. I'm not an artist I was familiar with, but they are known. So yeah, okay, that's the objects. Excellent. Now, clothing. Let's see. How's the disaster going? Not well. God, sometimes I shouldn't laugh when I'm doing a bad job. That's I gotta take life a little more seriously. This is a John Varvatos shirt. These can sell pretty well. it's kind of luxury, you know, and it's size extra small, so that's not, you know, it's not the greatest. Um, so I paid a little over 5. Um, it's decent. I think I have a second one in here that I found at a different store. Um, and the other one I think is a little better, just because it has a skull on it, and it's just kind of a cool print. Uh, this one I wasn't familiar with. Um, it's out of my cultural like loop. Um, Laugh my fucking ass off every day shuffling. So I think this is a music thing, and so it costs a little under 4, and it does have a Teltex tag, but like older style, a bit older, you know. So I'm thinking kind of Y2K time period here. There you go. Um, this apparently sells well, and there's a lot of repros out there, and I think that's the OG. So excellent. Um, this is pure 90s right here. This is Bahamas, you know, made in the Bahamas. One of these kind of tourist shirts with the shark. I mean, which if you look at the iconography there, I mean that's so straight up 90s. With also the color work is great. I couldn't really tell you value. It's probably not crazy value. Paid 5, so I paid up a little bit for this shirt. But the material's nice. It's sharky, you know, so fairly literal right there. Okay, that's gonna really bother me. I want to keep the belt connected to that J. Crew or supposed J. Crew dress. Otherwise, things just can get lost. This is a vintage Nautica long sleeve shirt. Fairly nice. I think it's 90s. Maybe someone else knows. I'm not that well versed on this stuff. I might come from the 90s or have spent you know, been alive in the 90s, but I don't always know the 90s stuff that well. A lot of those younger like bin bro sort of dudes, they could run circles around me with their knowledge on that stuff. That's okay, you know. I love, you know what I love? I love that the younger gen has some love and appreciation for 90s and even much deeper true vintage sort of stuff. I think that's cool. Now, this brand I didn't know. Maybe it's a little more boutique-y, I suppose, but it seems to sell. It's called Muggsy. Now, Muggsy, I always think of Muggsy Bugs. He was like one of my favorite players growing up, basketball. But here you go on the tag. Now, what stuck out to me right off the bat was just that, you know, the buttons were had a nice design and had the company name and everything. So, you know, this ain't crazy or anything. Maybe try and sell it between 40 and 50, cost 8. I think it's a solid piece. I liked it. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's something I wouldn't want even for myself. So sometimes that's a good metric for my thinking, I suppose. This is a vintage, very good condition, Super Bowl sweater from, let me tell you, wait, Super Bowl 24. Look at my skills at reading the new Roman numerals. Incredible. You're impressed, right? Now, the brand, and this is they were doing a lot of the NFL stuff in that period, I think. Cliff Angle. That's not something I knew. I only learned when I was looking this piece up. I'm like, oh, what's this Cliff Angle thing? So, you know, even I like the sports stuff, but oftentimes, you know, I don't have, you know, zillions of hours of of experience with this stuff. So, you know, I'm learning as I go, like pretty much everybody else. So I like to think we're all at different points in our journey of like learning and discovery within reselling, you know, because you're always continuously learning and it's fun. That's why even when you talk with other resellers, it's always fun to share stuff we find, knowledge to me, because, you know, it's like these are other people who will probably appreciate it, even though technically, you know, some people, a few are like, oh, I'm not telling anybody shit, you know, because they're my competitors. I'm like, dude, if you get as good as you need to in these things, it doesn't matter. You should, plus you should help people. It's kind of fun. It builds community, and there's enough out there for everybody. This is a Disneyland Resort denim hooded spirit jersey. So, and it wasn't price bad. Let's see what we did on that. Not price bad. No, a little $7.50. So it's not bad though. This was cool. This is the last store I went to yesterday. I debated whether I go to this one. It was 35th Ave in Peoria. It's like some of the tougher neighborhoods, you know, along the I-17 corridor. You know, I mean, there's. I just say that just because that's one of those things. Now this, there were two pieces that were really good on the fresh roll right there that I was able to snag. Now you see, didn't pay much, 5 basically. And this is Filson, vintage Filson. Now, yeah, of course it's got some wear. But you know what we say, that's character right there. And some of this could clean off here, so we'll see. But really cool, you know. I mean, this is well made. Filson's a good brand. This sells for money, so that basically paid for the day, you know. Finding these two pieces here. This one's cool too. This is, and it must have been the same person. Vintage Ralph Lauren right here. And I'll show you the tag there. You know, pretty cool, right? This one is in fairly good condition. Just needs a little bit of spot cleaning. So yeah, these are sweet, man. When I said they'll sell for money, I mean they might sell for over 200, I believe. So we shall see. But they were basically no-brainers because even the Ralph Lauren, man, they priced that. I paid about $6.50 or $6 on it. This was probably my favorite find. And I do believe it's vintage. Oh wait, no. I just saw there's double stitching on this guy. It's all right. It's such a cool graphic. But it's definitely got, you know, great like lowrider kind of vibes right there. You know, when I first saw this, I was thinking it was going to be DGA, David Gonzalez. He does a lot of contemporary stuff like this, but I didn't see his name on there anywhere. So yeah, this is double stitched. Damn, I was just being kind of quick when I grabbed it because I paid up too on it. This was at Savers. I paid $8. But you know, the graphic's so good on that one that we're good. You know, I mean, it won't be as good as I would have hoped, you know, because if that was true vintage. And I was like, the image, there's just no wear on this shirt, you know, not enough wear. This is, so I should have, I think my hope outpaced my logic on that. United Colors of Benetton. I love United Colors of Benetton. It imploded, you know, a while back. I think it got fairly mismanaged and overexpanded. But some of their like vintage pieces can sell for a lot of money. They were from Italy, you know. Now the cool thing with this is it's new with tags right here. And this is a good piece. You know, I'm trying to be a little careful on picking up more like winter sort of style stuff. But, you know, that one should sell for over 100 around there. And what did I pay on it? Let me tell you. I did pay a little bit. I paid 15, but this is still good. Trade-off is good in terms of how long it will take to sell and how much it will sell for. Now, this is actually just polyester, you know, kind of a Chinese kimono style thing. But it's got tons of birds, you know, and it's very nice. Nicely done. I really love this design. I think it's cool. Priced, let me tell you. Yeah, paid about $7.50, so not bad. Very sellable. You know, the design is excellent. That's what counts. Now this blazer, let me tell you who it is. Wait, 1 minute, planning. There it is. Oh, John Varvatos. Speaking of Varvatos, but this is a nice blazer here because made in Italy, very good material, and it is it nice. You know, because the thing that's in style right now, this one wasn't, but is the unstructured blazers. So, you know, where there's no like padding and stuff. So it gives it more the natural, your natural contours come out versus, you know, looking, trying to puff up a little bit and giving you a bit more linebacker vibes. This is just an opportunistic pickup, lounge fly. And, you know, I had showed you guys that a Spirit jersey with this little baby Yoda dude. And do you remember I said I really don't even like this character, but now I'm ending up picking up all this stuff, and I did debate on it, paid about $6.50 on there. But that's a good bag, you know, sell it for $50, you know, and maybe locally go lower. Is my thinking? Because I might sell that local. I try and do the bigger objects local. That's what I prioritize. This is just an Under Armour like camo shirt. I liked it. Initially, I was like, I might get this for myself, but paid $8. But it should sell well. That stuff's very in vogue right now. This one I really liked. For style, I liked it. I'll tell you the brand. It's nothing I knew. Authentic Dynamo. So I think it's vintage actually, but to study. But it's got a lot of nice design touches here. Like you can see this little guy. That's tagged on there. That's cool. And the buttons are nice. So I think that's a cool piece. There's a brush popper Wrangler here. This is very cool. Green. Nicely done. These are cool. Very, very cool. Here's the tag for you. Wrestler by Wrangler. And yeah, what did I pay? Yeah, a little 5. This is Vintage Woolrich right here. This is, oh my god, this is like super scratchy material. So for those of us that are sensitive to wool, I mean, you want to run for the hills when you see a piece like this. You know, I'd rather go in a torture chamber than have to wear this all day long. But it's a cool piece, though. If I could wear it, I would. $8. Oh, well, here in Phoenix? No. You know, we have like 2 days of the year where you could wear something like that. So that costs $8. This nice women's Polo Ralph Lauren. Might be vintage, kind of Y2K era, but there you see how they got their little glittery pony dude, polo dude. Paid about $6.50. Cool piece. It's small, but it's a good one, I think. This, you know, I'm not sure if this is vintage. This is Lacoste. And look, I've never seen the, you know, this is the albino crocodile, I suppose. You know, the variant. Maybe it's the cousin to the main Lacoste crocodile. So I believe this is European issue though. Like so it was sold in Europe because it says Chemise Lacoste, made in Spain. So yeah, interesting. But it's nice, good condition, all that. Paid about $7.50. Oh, this one was awesome. This one I would be tempted to keep actually. I'm gonna wear this a few times for sure. Look at this. You could stand out wearing something like this. But what I really like is the touch of red in that pattern right there. That really gives it some pop, you know, some funk, I would say. Now I paid $20 on this, which this one was a stretch, I'll tell you, because I couldn't find anything on this. But I went with design, material, and this kind of thinking, and it's fairly vintage, and it's got some pretty cool kind of Western vibes. So Western vibes with a bit of funk. So I will try and sell it, but I will wear it too. Now, what was this? Ooh, I don't even know what team this is now. I'd looked it up, and that goes to show. I don't always know the soccer stuff that great. This one cost actually a little under $6. What country is it? That's gonna drive me crazy now. But it's nice. What brand was it? Was it no, Adidas? Found a couple Booker pieces. Now this one I don't really like as much personally, just because the material. I don't like the material as much, and it's not stitched. I try and mostly stick to for basketball to stitch jerseys unless it's the vintage stuff. Let's see. Yeah, it's just a dry fit Jordan brand right there. You can see. So that I got at Savers for about 10, and I am just noticing a flaw. So Stupido. This is just a piece I got for myself, just for basic wear, nothing fancy. Gap plaid pattern hat, also Savers, about 5. Let me see here. Oh, this is actually a good one. This is surprisingly enough, you know, I thought this was vintage at first, but no, I think it's actually contemporary, and it's sold on Huckberry. Isn't that interesting? Huckberry's a good site because, you know, they carry a lot of fairly trendy, well-made men's clothing. So that one's actually good, surprisingly enough. The graphic just stuck out to me because it felt very like 80s, 90s. This is Dennis Rodman Spurs jersey. This is iconic, Dennis Rodman. I say that, of course, I'm lying because Spurs Dennis Rodman was basically pain in the ass Dennis Rodman. So he wasn't there for very long. I paid 20 on that. No, 18 because it was 25% off. But that one's actually fairly good because it's fairly rare because he wasn't with the Spurs very long. So, you know, sometimes there's these like, what you call counterintuitive things. So another Wrangler, nice Western shirt. This is another Sabres one. I think paid about $9 on that. I think I got these two together, yeah. This is a Panhandle Slim. This one's a cool design. Paid about $7.50 on it. These are great. They're just fantastic. I've come to really love a lot of those Western shirts. This is a nicer Booker jersey. Although, yeah, it's not stitched either. There you go. But the reason I did get this one, normally this would be a pass for me, but after coupon it was $8. So when it's priced like that, it's very easy to do. This is, oh yeah, dude, you know who this is? Number 20, Baltimore Ravens, Ed Reed, legend. So this one paid $16 on, yeah, vintage Ed Reed jersey. Excellent. Oh, this one's cool. I don't know. I think I found these two together, and this is at a Scottsdale store, which is a miracle when things are. This is actually legit a miracle. This is at Scottsdale, Thunderbird. Like I say, these places, they kill you with their prices in Scottsdale, okay? This, my friends, is Sidney Crosby Reebok jersey. Like, interesting variant, though, on the blue there. Basically, I mean, he's the greatest contemporary hockey player, per people that actually know that sport. Ovechkin's great, but he's a little more, you know, he's not as complete of a player. Look, I'm saying all this as just stuff I've read. I don't know hockey that well. Paid $8 on this. Damn, that is a miracle. Now, I think part of the reason they priced it like that was because there was some staining on here. Oh, and there's some wear, some pilling, and all that. But you know what? This is a cool jersey. Yeah, there is some wear. That's why they did it. But that's a great jersey. I mean, of course, you wish it was like in mint condition, but you know, you take what you get. This is not a brand I knew here. Maybe some of you know this one. Luca Faloni. You know what? Now that I'm saying that name, you know where I think I've actually heard it? And the reason this one jumped out to me, because sometimes the basic pieces, I'm not like being super meticulous in checking stuff. But I think I felt the material. I'm like, oh, this feels nice, you know? So that was the tell for me. I'm starting to think it might have been through Dude Thrift Clothing, you know, listening to his channel. He might have mentioned that brand. So that maybe. He's so good. His channel is fabulous. This is, and actually, let me tell you what I paid on that one. $4. And that brand retails very high. And it sells very high, even non-retail. This is Polo Ralph Lauren. Pearl Snap. Nice piece. Very cool. Let's see here. And it's 2XL. So, and made in the Philippines. So I believe vintage. There you go on the cost. About $7.50. Let's see, what is this one? This is a blazer made in Portugal, pinstripe. Oh, Yves Saint Laurent. Okay, yeah, paid $8. So, you know, very nice. I've been coming across, now that I'm doing the blazers, a lot more of the luxury brands, you know. But it turns out, you know, a lot of them aren't even worth much just because, you know, for varying reasons. Supply. Styles change. In that world of blazers and suits, here's my understanding is that you know, people working in these positions, especially like, you know, where there's big money and stuff, or in business and everything, they want to look like right on point and right with the trends, you know. So if you're dressing, you're not going to dress goofy like 50 years ago just because you want to be unique or a character. That's usually not going to work. You know, people are going to be like, they're not going to be, the people that you're doing business with, they're not the crowd that's going to be like, oh, that's cool. No, they're going to be like, who is this, you know, goofball? And that's not a good thing to look like a goofball when you're trying to do some of those things. That's just the way that those cultures often are. Those spaces, I would say. This is a Ralph Lauren hoodie, you know, pretty basic, paid $12. And these last two, these are really cool. This is one of my thrift friends who passed this to me. He's a music guy, and he's from Cuba originally, and he has a little beagle that goes around with him. He hunts for music stuff everywhere. He's really more of a collector than a seller, and I always usually get little dog treats from the post office to give to my dog. But when I run into them during the day, I usually get to slip the little beagle a treat, which is cool. So he told me these were like his party shirts when he was going to like Ibiza and stuff like that, you know. So he was like kind of in that party lifestyle, which I would say was probably early 2000s. And he's like, oh, you know this brand, right? I'm like, no, I don't know this. Cusco? No, is that what it says? No, Custo, Barcelona. So that's pretty awesome. I just thought the design's very fun. And these I'm going to keep for myself. They might even have value. I don't know. This one doesn't have the tag. I think it might be the same brand though. I think this is what, you know, the people going to the clubs and stuff, you know, that party lifestyle early 2000s were wearing. I mean, for me, it like rings a bell. I wasn't a super club guy. I did go to some, but you know, that was more like the exception than the rule. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I don't know if you had any favorites. I don't know if I had any. Wait, what the hell was this? Wait a second. Oh, I missed this. DeAndre Hopkins, stitch jersey, 16. There you go. Okay. Hope you enjoyed. Keep having fun. Take care.